fuck. I just didn't know exactly where from, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, she followed me on Instagram. So I wonder if I should back this bitch up a little bit, cause yeah, hell yeah, nigga. Cause I tried to do an IGTV one day, nigga. I was gassing.
Super close.
Hell yeah, nigga. I was like, God damn, nigga. I don't want to see that much of myself. Fuck. I'm a sexy motherfucker, but shit, not to myself. But let's see. Go ahead and light that motherfucker up for me. Can you cut the brightness up on that shit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, because, nigga, these sunglasses, nigga, it be sometimes I'll be like, maybe I shouldn't wear sunglasses while I do this. That shit loud as a motherfucker. Nigga, one day, nigga, you know, like on Podcoin, when I'm listening to Podcoin, it'll play while I'm, like, if I answer a phone call with my headset on.
Oh, for real?
It'll still be playing the show while I'm listening to the phone. Nigga, my wife called me, nigga, and I heard myself talking, but I didn't know it was me. Who the fuck is this nigga talking all loud and shit all in the fucking phone? You got me on three-way with a nigga or some shit? It was me talking on the show. And luckily, I be knowing what the fuck I be talking about every time I be on the show. So I'm like, oh, no, that's me. But, my bad. What the fuck happened this week in the news? I don't have nothing to banter about.
The nigga got settlement $44 million. The white nigga, Ernstein, the nigga that was, what's the producer, the Hollywood producer that was going to, or the sexual allegations and shit. Remember they was like, why this nigga get to be friends? Weinstein. He
got a settlement. He got paid.
He settled out of court. He paying, so he paying $44 million. Case over.
Fucking God, I don't want to talk about that. That sucks. Fuck. I'm just gonna talk about all these niggas in Vegas. Fuck. Be a hater. I'm a hate on some niggas.
Slide that to the right.
Nigga, matter of fact, hate on that nigga who hating on the baby.
That's cool.
Cause that shit weird as fuck to me. Like, nigga, how the fuck is your whole identity being a hater of another nigga? Even if that makes you famous, my nigga. I couldn't see myself being known as the nigga who's beefing with the baby. Like, do you got any music out? No, I just hate on the baby. He knocked my ass out at the Louis store.
I'm surprised how many niggas
Nigga said be a sucker for clout.
Yep.
That's that. I talked about that shit on here though, nigga. Like, attention is a hell of a drug, nigga. Like,
social media, people use it for all the wrong reasons.
Man, and it's like, I understand that a lot of times the attention that you get from this shit, you can monetize, but nigga, it's just some shit I wouldn't do for money, nigga. Would you suck dick for money? Might as well.
Oh shit! What up, Jessica? About to go live. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Phone good?
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's go.
Like Elvis. That was the first thing on my shit. God damn. And then there was bass. Good evening, motherfuckers and motherfuckers. This is your host, Yung Dolemite of the Too Much Game podcast. Sitting here with the super producer, Ben Ready.
Yes, sir.
How your week been going, Ben Ready?
Wonderful, man. Wonderful. Real pimping going on. Wonderful.
Man, that's fantastic news. Shit. That's just like the news that I got when you woke me up that morning and shit, telling me about the shit. Man, good God.
How about yourself, man?
Man, shit, doing very well, excellent. I slept in my house for the first time last night. That was a magnificent thing.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much. On top of the fabulous news that I was ranked on Podcoin. Big shout out to Podcoin. If y'all not listening to me on Podcoin, y'all motherfuckers tripping. if you want to support the Too Much Game podcast, what better way than to get paid to listen to the Too Much Game podcast on Podcoin? Use the code GAME to get 300 points on that motherfucker. But anyway, yeah, man, that's it's been a good week for me.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and big shout out to No Cut the Pimp.
Hey,
man, my boy No Cut, good looking out. Without him, this may not be possible. Cause last week, boy, we could have named this motherfucker So Much Gang. Cause it was two motherfuckers with too much motherfucking game on here. Shit. Too squared out this motherfucker.
That was a wonderful show, man. That shit was great.
And it's crazy because I didn't think that it would do numbers like that. Like, in my head, honestly, I was like, this shit is so far above a lot of these niggas' heads. Motherfuckers they not gonna be able to catch it. A lot of niggas gonna be like, I couldn't relate, so I didn't really fuck with that episode. But that shit went up. And I'm greatly appreciative to everybody who listened, everybody who shared, everybody who called me and told me that was their favorite episode and all that type of shit. Because I honestly felt like that was almost a passion project, if you will. I did that more for me than for anybody else. I'm like, man, niggas ain't gonna like this one, but I like it. So we finna do that shit. Because when we was sitting there having a conversation right here, I'm like, I got to have this nigga on my show.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't I'm gonna get him on my show and it's gonna do crazy numbers. It was I'm gonna get this nigga on my show because this nigga is talking some real life shit. And I would love for my listeners to be able to partake in this real shit as far as the ins and outs and the goings on in the pimp game from a real life motherfucking P. So thank you very much again. No Cut the Pimp, because motherfuckers did numbers on that shit. But it's Memorial Day weekend, right?
Right.
Supposedly the first weekend of the summer. It does not look that way out here in Southern California.
At all.
Nigga. And Tony famously said it never rains in Southern California. It's seeming like them niggas is full of shit. Because it's fucking raining. It was raining on the way here. As y'all can see, I have on a leather sleeve jacket. Because it is not summer weather out this motherfucker. There's no beach party going on. The weather fucked up out here.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is fucking crazy, my nigga. But it was cool because I got a nice view out my back window and shit. So, watching the rain from the back window of my home was a pleasant experience. But to start this episode is entitled Nothing Wrong with Calvin. If a lot of you guys, if you were born in the 80s, you probably remember growing up and watching those McDonald's commercials, especially when you watched television with a predominantly black demographic. Like if you was watching Martin or The Cosby Show or, shows like that with a black audience. There was these commercials for McDonald's where there was the kid Calvin. And Calvin, growing up in the inner city, it looked like it was in like Brooklyn because they was all on like the stoops on brownstones and shit.
Right. And
he basically, it starts out, he's what you call that shit? Like he, telling his homeboys, yeah man, I just got a job. They like, oh, where you working at? He like, McDonald's. They laughed this nigga out the building. Like, McDonald's, nigga, you finna be flipping hamburgers out? They roasting him and shit. So throughout the progression of the commercial, it would be like maybe every 2 weeks, a month, maybe even a year. I'm not sure. I was young when these commercials was out. But every time the commercial would be different, Calvin would get a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
So it would start out, he just getting a job. And then the next time it would be like, they letting Calvin work the french fries now. Oh, Calvin on the fryer. Oh, Calvin on the window. Calvin working the front register, and every time he come, his boys is clowning him, bitches laughing at him and shit. But the older people is kind of giving them props. Like, they discussing amongst themselves, oh, Calvin got him a little promotion. Calvin on his shit. And a lot of what that is me tying this into modern day life and just the listeners who's listening to this in general. Never be afraid to be like Calvin, because Calvin is a story of not being afraid to get your hands dirty to get what you want to get out of life. A lot of motherfuckers can't be the Michael Jordans on the team. There has to be a Dennis Rodman. You know, without a Draymond Green, there is no real Steph Curry story. He's just a nigga who can shoot without Draymond Green. In life, there are people who play roles. You know, somebody has to be the motherfucker who does something that's not exactly glamorous. Everything in life is not going to be glamorous. Everybody's path in life is not something glamorous. Like, without Destiny's Child, there's no Beyonce. You need Michelle, Kelly, LaToya Luckett, Latavia. Like, you need those role players in order for the team to be great. Mm-hmm. So in life, sometimes there's no shame in being a role player, and not even a role player in a team scenario. Sometimes you just a bricklayer, a motherfucker who does something, whether well or just good enough. A lot of people, we look up to our father, and a lot of our fathers wasn't some great, fantastic fucking actor or musician or some shit like that. It's some shit that's just something regular, like what was the show? Good Times. James Evans.
Great example.
Regular blue collar dude, but just the example that he set for still being a great person without being in a glorious situation is something that's commendable. Like, it's something that should be considered. A lot of people nowadays, like if you look at the social media generation, a lot of motherfuckers is flexing and showing off and lying and basically acting like they something that they not, because they want to be something that they can't be. And I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with being who you are. Like, I know forklift drivers who are homeowners. They ain't never done nothing but drive a forklift. My grandfather was a forklift driver. And we all looked up to him because he was the motherfucker who looked out for the household. He was the patriarch of the family. Now, you don't have to be some type of superstar in order to be loved and respected. Like, you know, you still gonna have the same amount of love as a lot of these motherfuckers who in glorious positions. And a lot of these people, a lot of times, like I've always said, I'd rather be rich than famous. Mm-hmm. Even though a lot of people got that shit backwards. They'd rather be famous than rich. A lot of people would rather have people looking at them with stars in their eyes than have dollar signs in their pocket.
I had an ex-girlfriend that said she'd rather be famous.
What the fuck do you get out of that? Like, honestly. Besides motherfuckers in your business.
That's it.
Because that's what it is. Like, me personally, I just don't really like people being in my business, because the thing about fame cuts off a lot of your access to shit that is normal, and to me, shit that is needed in normal human life. Like, I enjoy anonymity. I like to be able to go places and just mind my business. If I want a pair of shoes, I like to be able to just go in Foot Locker, try on my shoes, look at shoes, buy the shoes, and walk the fuck out. I would hate to be a fucking star where I can't even go to the mall like I want to, because I know that it's going to be a fucking commotion and a frenzy. I can't enjoy shit like regular people. I can't tweet something in a bad mood and delete it because it's going to be misinterpreted by thousands of people. Like, let's just say hypothetically, you having a bad day and you tweet some shit like, man, fuck this, I'm over all this bullshit.
Who's he talking about?
Within 2 hours, that shit gonna be on the Shade Room. Like, is Ben Ready suicidal? What does he mean by I'm over all of this shit? Is he retiring from podcasting? What is all this shit? Everything you say or do is up to speculation and up to be misinterpreted by thousands of motherfuckers. So fame ain't all it's cracked up to be. Like, ask any famous motherfucker, why you think they slapping all them cameras out their face when TMZ is fucking with them? because they want to be anonymous like you want to be anonymous. But you can't be anonymous if you're this big fucking star. And a lot of these big fucking stars, like, it tripped me out when I found out that most of my favorite rappers never were rich. All that fucking fame, and you ain't got no type of real money. You got a bunch of fake jewelry, and you get put into a bunch of situations that make you look rich, but you're not really rich. Just like a lot of basketball players and athletes who acquire a vast amount of revenue and end up broke. All that fucking fame and no money. And that's another downfall to fame. Imagine you broke in real life, but you're famous. You was a rapper and you had a hit song. Like, imagine being Jaquan and going broke. You on a fucking bus, and the bus driver's like, ain't you the nigga from everybody in the club getting tipsy?
Look at old boy from the Cosby Show. Remember?
Yeah, when they caught his ass working that fucking
Whole Foods.
Yeah, Whole Foods or Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
I can't have a job, nigga, because I was on TV. I gotta make money too. I got bills and shit. Like,
not to mention, that was in the fucking 80s, early 90s. We how many years removed?
Exactly. Like, it wasn't like I was on Love and Hip Hop, motherfucker. I gotta generate money too, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with getting some money? It might not be glamorous, but it's a respectable fucking job. Like, I look at any job as respectable. Honestly, like, I don't shit on no nigga for how he get his money. I got a partner that sells hair. And a lot of niggas shit on him for selling hair, but I'm like, my nigga, you don't know how much money is in that hair game, do you?
A lot of fucking money.
Exactly, because you better not let me get the plug on the bundles, nigga. I'm out here with body waves, nigga. I got the Brazilian, Indian, I got that horse shit for the broke bitches. I got synthetic, I got all of the hair. If I had a line on the hair, nigga, I don't give a fuck, nigga. I done sold vacuum cleaners. I done made bricks. I done did all types of shit. Because me personally, I don't give a fuck. I'm with everything. Like, I kind of was mad at my dad growing up because he stigmatized flipping hamburgers. I remember when I was younger, when I would get in trouble, that used to be my dad, like, main fucking point he would drive into my head. Nigga, you do not want to be flipping hamburgers. You don't want to be grown and flipping hamburgers. You don't want to be working at McDonald's. But growing up, the niggas who was working at McDonald's nowadays are doing well in life. McDonald's is a cool stepping stone. Not just McDonald's, but any job in general. You having job, anytime that you are doing something that's going to make you some money, a lot of times you can springboard that into something that's going to make more money. Like Calvin. If y'all watch these old Calvin commercials, I don't know if they on YouTube in their entirety or in their whole complete sequence. But in those days of watching those commercials, I remember, I think it might have been the last one, but it was like Calvin got his own McDonald's. And not manager. That nigga owned a fucking McDonald's. And if you own a McDonald's, you got bread. To buy a McDonald's right now, I think you need, what, $250 million or something? Oh, not $250 million, but $2.5 million to own a McDonald's franchise. But I think there's something where if you work at McDonald's for a long time, you have tenure and you have like the inside track on a way to buy one. And shit, if you want to buy a McDonald's, I think that the way that they train you to buy a McDonald's is you got to run one as not an employee, but almost like an apprentice. Like, you have to be able to know how the company works from the bottom to the top. So in order for you to even buy one, you gotta work in one of them motherfuckers. So for me, like, I just look at, as far as the Calvin situation, as any motherfucker in a situation where you making money, don't never let a nigga shit on how you make your money. Because in all those commercials of Calvin working at that motherfucking McDonald's, some of those commercials you see, his homeboy went and pulled him to the side. Literally the same homeboy who was sitting there roasting him with all his boys, Calvin walked off, head held high, like, bitch, I got bread and y'all still on this fucking porch. Hey, man, you think you can get me in at that McDonald's you working at? The same nigga who was clowning him. And you were saying something?
The same McDonald's y'all laughed at me for flipping burgers and dipping the fries.
Exactly, nigga. Like, you know, even Dave Chappelle clowned his ass on the skit. when he was the Calvin skit on the Chappelle show when the bitches was like, nigga, you smell like French fries. Like, you know, they lampooned him. You know, Calvin got a lot of hate for how he made his money. But me personally, I don't knock nobody's hustle because, man, you'd be surprised what the fuck you can get out of anything. A lot of jobs, you start out at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you work there and you stay consistent and you do like you're supposed to do, after a certain amount of time, you'll be somewhere where you want to be. A lot of motherfuckers who started out somewhere at any job, a lot of y'all motherfuckers entry level. You go entry level at your job. 5-10 years later, if you stay there, you'll be making more money than a lot of niggas who graduated college and came in.
Facts.
Because a lot of people don't understand that experience is more important than education in a lot of situations. A lot of people, the reason that they graduate college and can't get a job is because they don't have experience. You trying to get into a job with your fucking 8-year degree, and there's a nigga who been working there for 15 years with no fucking experience, and he's the one interviewing you for the job. He's the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Because he understood, and I'm not even gonna say understood, because a lot of people, they don't know, they just do it. A lot of shit that we do as human beings is more subconscious than conscious. We just doing shit. We don't know what we doing until after it's done. Like a lot of people who, like, you know, us, we all know people in our generation from the generation before us who work at the Department of Water and Power, and they balling. We know motherfuckers who a mailman and they balling. We know niggas who a welder, a mechanic, a plumber, all of these regular trades, and they fucking balling. A lot of these niggas right up the street on that corner at that motorcycle club.
Balling.
These niggas got regular jobs. It probably ain't a degree in that building. And all them niggas is 6-figure a year earners. Because a lot of those niggas, again, it's not that they understand, but it's that they live by the principle of you started at one place and you ended somewhere else. A lot of those dudes probably started out in the career that they're in making close to minimum wage. And then they got a raise here, a raise here, a raise here, a promotion here, and a promotion here. And now they're where they are. A lot of us want to skip those steps. Like people always say, there's no elevator to success. You have to take the steps. The steps aren't just steps, but steps that you take to get somewhere. Just like a step of doing this thing, the step of starting, the step of learning, the step of promotion, the step of learning to maneuver around a certain situation, scenario, or industry. You know, you got to be able to do shit like that. Like a lot of times when you go into jobs, the reason that you're trained a certain way, most of the time when you do training in jobs, they train you for adverse circumstances because they need to know that you're the type of person who can move and shake in an environment that isn't everything going the right way. So a lot of times when you come out of college, if you ain't got no experience, they don't really want to fuck with you. They rather fuck with the nigga who knows how things are working when shit's fucked up. Like, okay, we gonna go with Johnny because we know Johnny know how to work when the assembly line is broke. We know Johnny know how to work when the forklifts is fucked up. This dude coming out of college only knows what he was taught in the classroom. A lot of times they not teaching adverse circumstances in the classroom. So a lot of times you have to be able to be that dude who's willing to start from the bottom and get his hands dirty real quick. When you in corporate America, a lot of times, they don't hire a CEO. They hire you in the mailroom, and then you work your way up. You got to work your way up that fucking ladder in anything in life. And a lot of people want to start out at the top, and that's where they get fucked up at. A lot of people who go into college, they got stars in their eyes while they in college because they thinking, oh man, when I graduate, I'm gonna go somewhere and I'm gonna be the fucking boss. And they don't understand. A lot of times when you come out of college, you're gonna end up on some minimum wage bullshit like you would have got when you didn't even go to college.
Mm-hmm.
What made me drop out of college was a lot of the niggas that was in the field that I was going into made less money than I made before I started college. And these was niggas who had been in that field for a while. Because me personally, this is just a pro tip from Yung Dolemite to young niggas graduating high school, college, and things of that nature. Whenever you want to choose a field to go into or a job to work at, walk through the parking lot. If you don't want to drive none of those cars, you don't want to work at that job. And if you really serious about working at a place or going into an industry, let's just say hypothetically you want to be a plumber. Talk to some plumbers, multiple plumbers, plumbers who own the company and plumbers who work for a company. See what they make. See what type of lifestyle they live in. And that's going to determine whether or not you want to do it. A lot of people want to be a rapper, but they don't understand that the hip-hop industry is fucked up. A lot of these rappers are not happy people. A lot of these rappers, it's a fucking facade. A lot of these people should find a way to get in contact with a rapper and speak to them. That's the reason that a lot of people don't even want you to go into hip-hop. Because there's no way to be like, hey, Plies, how's life? Hey, Blueface, how's life? Hey, Jay-Z, how's life? You can't really talk to them. A lot of what they're telling you is a fucking lie. Because it's a rapper's job to tell you that they live in the best life on the fucking planet. It's a rapper's job to tell you, oh, this shit is all fucking peaches and roses and all I do all day is smoke weed, fuck bitches, have fun, eat good food, and get drunk and sit lean. Like, it's like, that shit sounds like fun.
And a lot of them, that's not even their main source of income.
Exactly. The rich ones.
Yeah, you got to be like a Drake. You know what I'm saying? But they get
but
more money.
But even Drake get more money doing other shit than he do rapping. Most successful rappers are not successful because of rap.
It's a stepping stone.
Exactly. And a lot of people, again, that's something that a lot of motherfuckers don't understand. You just looking at what they're saying in these songs and you're not realizing that they're lying. A lot of that shit is a lie. A lot of what you see as far as people who are in glamorous positions, it's all lies. So when you going into just graduating from high school and college, because again, it just be shit that be on my mind when it comes to doing these shows. And now while I'm speaking, it just came to my mind. A lot of motherfuckers is graduating high school and college right now. Mm-hmm. So this would be a good episode for them to listen to. Just me speaking right now. This episode is dedicated to high school and college graduates right now. Run this bitch back, because a lot of what I'm saying is shit that is gonna apply to you guys specifically. When you coming out of high school and college, man, don't be afraid to jump into something that you think might possibly be less money than what you want at the moment. Because money is money. Slow progress is still progress. It might not be something as glamorous as the dude next to you or one of your homeboys or somebody who you know, but it could turn itself into something. And when it comes to you choosing a career or choosing a job, if it don't have no upward mobility, then just do it until you find something that has that. Because a lot of times a dead-end job is something that does exist. I'm not saying just get any dead-end fucking job. I'm not saying, oh, Ricky's Tires is a great fucking job. They paying you minimum wage, but just go to Ricky's Tires because they paying. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is a lot of times when you go to look into a lot of these career fields, you can find something that if you stay down, you'll come up. Mm-hmm. Like the company that I work at, like it's motherfuckers who start out on the docks and they making this much money. And then they move up and they become the dock supervisor and they make this much money. And they do this and they do this and they do this. A lot of motherfuckers at my job making 6 figures. A lot. Me too. But we not a bunch of glamorous, college educated. We not the upper echelon of nothing. We not the greatest, most intelligent, best motherfuckers in our career field. We just a bunch of motherfuckers who was staying down until we came up. And a lot of people in life are like that. Like on Trigger Warning, the show Killer Mike got. He basically was telling a bunch of little kids, like, you're not gonna be the president. You know, when you little, you got all these super duper aspirations and dreams, and a lot of your parents are sometimes doing you a disservice by telling you, you can do anything, son. A lot of times your parents are setting you up for the failure. I know a lot of niggas right now my age. I'm 36 fucking years old. I got homeboys older than me still think they finna be a rapper. It's sad that it's that funny. Like,
it's funnier than that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's sad that, really, nigga, hip hop is basically dead for you after like 25. If you not already phenomenal, if you don't already have a buzz, it ain't in the cards for you. But a lot of people, they so stuck on their dream, they like, I'm gonna make this shit work. And it's two sides to that coin, because a lot of times if you stick with something long enough, yes, it can turn into something. But at the same time, you also have to be realistic. And I always say that shit, like, you need to be doing something that's going to finance your dream until your dream can finance itself. Like, I understand that you have something that you're very passionate about, but at the same time, you should be doing something that's going to finance your passion, even if you're not passionate about that. Like, if I consider myself to be a rapper, I'm at least going to have me a cool little job to where I can invest the money from my job into my rapping career until my rapping career can finance itself. Mm-hmm. A lot of motherfuckers is literally at their mama house right now just rapping and rapping and rapping and rapping and rapping. Like, nigga, you could have been working at the post office and rapping. In 10 years after you working at the post office, you making so much money at the post office, you don't even care about rap no more. And if you love rap enough, you'd have still been rapping. But you'd have been balling off the post office while you was rapping. So you winning on both sides of the game. But if you want to put all your eggs in the rap basket and then the rap basket fall off, now you 42 years old and you've been rapping for 32 fucking years. Because most niggas who decide to be rapping start literally like junior high, beginning of high school. Most of the niggas who I know who rap, whether they good or they trash, they really started writing their raps at like 13. Mm-hmm. So you done spent all this time in this area of passion, but you ain't did nothing to supplement that. And now that you know is a wash. Look at all the years you wasted doing that bullshit. When you could have been like Calvin at McDonald's and rapping that on the side. Because it ain't like if you got a job, you can't pursue your passion. You can still pursue your passion while you on your other grind. So speaking to the graduates, man, just like parents would always say back in our day, yo, you gotta have something to fall back on. Don't be afraid to have something to fall back on, because sometimes that fallback plan might be better than the first plan. If, you know, like as far as my son and my daughter, when they graduate high school, the money that we set aside is not exactly for college. It's for pursuing their passion. You know, if college ain't in the cards for their passion, this money is for passion. But at the same time, it depends on what the passion is. Because if the passion is something that's going to bring them instant money, then we'll finance that shit in the beginning. But if that's not what it is, then we going to finance that on the side. But I'm going to need y'all to have something to supplement this passion. So let's just say, hypothetically, my son want to be a fucking ninja. Nigga, you going to have to be a fucking karate master and a post office worker. We going to find you a trade. Like, this money right here, if you want to be a fucking ninja, we going to get you like a little swap meet booth for some shit selling t-shirts on the side. So you can have you some little money coming in. Or you gonna have like a fucking laundry mat or a 99-cent store or a fucking food truck or a mobile detailing thing. Or even if we was able to buy him a tractor to be a truck driver or hire a driver to drive that truck and bring in some residuals or some shit. But you're going to have to make some money to supplement the passion that you have, or you fucking up. A lot of kids coming out of high school and college, a lot of kids in high school and college, a lot of times when you're in high school, that's when a lot of motherfuckers start their life of crime. You know, you gang banging, or you hustling, you trying to sell some dope, or you trying to sell some weed or some shit like that. Don't fuck your future up in the beginning. Like, you're going to be grown a lot longer than you are a student. High school is 4 years. College, sometimes 2, sometimes up to 8 years?
12. Yeah, 8.
In the grand scheme of your life, at least you probably live to like 75 nowadays. Think about that. High school, 4 years. 4 out of 75. Don't fuck the other, 50 years of your life up behind a mistake you made at 17, 18? Like, I gave this advice to one of my little cousins, because my little cousin basically was trying to hit house licks to keep up with his homeboys in school, because his homeboys was having the new Jordans and wearing Gucci and Louis Vuitton belts and all of this little weak ass shit. But you know, in high school, that's kind of the thing. Like, you want to have the flashy shit that everybody else got. Mm-hmm. So he was taking penitentiary chances to keep up with the kids that had all the flashy shit. But like I told him, man, when I was in high school, I was bummy. But now that I'm grown, a lot of motherfuckers who had all that shit is trying to catch up with me. Because I understood through watching that, through watching the Calvin commercials. Mm-hmm. Like, shit, nigga, if you stay down until you come up, when you come up, you'll stay up. A lot of times when you young, you see the shit that a lot of these niggas got, and it's temporary. A lot of my homeboys who had a lot more money than I had in our younger days is locked up and dead. Or, you know, something went foul and now they broke. A lot of that lick money don't stay. A lot of that dope money don't stay. Me, nigga, I got a 401k building up. Got Social Security building up, which that shit probably gonna be gone, so I don't even really count that money.
Right.
But I got a lot of shit going on the back end of what I'm doing on my main income that's gonna take care of me when I'm older. A lot of times that dope money ain't gonna last. Shit, even rap is legal. But a lot of them niggas' money don't last. You know, how many times have you watched something on a 30 for 30 on ESPN of a athlete? $100 million.
Gone.
Latrell Sprewell made $162 million in his career, and he's broke. Antoine Walker made $150 million in his NBA career, and he's broke. And not to mention all the people saying Allen Iverson broke.
Van Baker.
Yeah, a lot of people made a lot of money in their life, and they broke because they don't know how to be like Calvin. You know, you just got to be able to, you know, stay on your grind, stay in your level, stay in your fucking lane. You know, live within your means. You know, if Calvin wanted to be top D-boy, Calvin would have been selling dope. I'm sure Calvin lived in the neighborhood where niggas were selling dope. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there was like a scene in one of those commercials where he walked by the dope boys with the big fat gold chains and all that shit. You know, and a lot of them niggas is in jail and dead. But Calvin is bubbling. If Calvin had his own McDonald's, Calvin's right now somewhere big bubbling. Calvin probably got 3 McDonald's by now. But that speaks to the principle of being able to stay within your means. Stay in your lane and do what you can do. You'll be the best at doing what you can do. Don't try to do what everybody else doing. If you stick to what you do well, you'll be straight. Because a lot of people gonna mock you on the way up. Calvin got clout. But he was like, man, fuck what y'all niggas talking about. Because he stuck to what he had in mind. He stuck to his goal. He stuck to the plan. And the plan ended up paying off. You know, like the guy Nipsey Hussle said, instead of trying to build a brick wall, lay a brick every day. And eventually you'll look up and you'll have a brick wall. Like, you know, when it comes to anything that you want to be great at, it takes patience. You know, so when you young right now, like graduating high school, 18, in college to get a BA, that's what, 2 years? So you 20. No, not a BA, associates. Associates is 2 years. The BA, the bachelor's, that's 4 years. So 20, 22. Mm-hmm. You know, at the end of the day, in the grand scheme, you young. You under 30, and you basically starting to navigate through life. You just got to realize, nigga, you got enough time. Be patient. Everything not going to happen in your early 20s. A lot of this shit you see on Instagram is fake. You seeing these motherfuckers young going on vacation and traveling the world and going to Dubai and all this shit. A lot of these pretty bitches you see on Instagram going to Dubai getting shitted on by the sheik. So y'all motherfuckers going to have to realize, man, if you don't want to get shitted on, stay in your fucking lane. Because a lot of them bitches out there in Dubai is toilets. You know. So let them motherfuckers laugh and joke and all that shit, because at the end of the day, you going to come out straight. And you got to understand the difference between criticism and hate. Because sometimes, you know, people going to talk about what you're doing. And like I said earlier about the difference between a cool starting job and a dead-end job. You know, some jobs have upward mobility. And those are the type of jobs that you want to go into. Like the jobs that's like, you know, because here's a question that they going to ask you in a lot of interviews. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or where do you see yourself in 10 years? And me, usually, a lot of times, my answer is sitting in your seat. Nigga, 5 years from now, I'm going to be doing your fucking job. Nigga, I'm going to be the nigga interviewing people. And I like to see what they say based on that. Because a lot of times when I'm being interviewed, I'm interviewing them. And this is another tip for y'all who's starting into the job market, you know, and careers for the college kids. When you on a job interview, you should be interviewing them as well. Because at the end of the day, becoming an employee, you're an independent contractor. You working for them, but you're also providing them value like they're providing you revenue. So when you're going into a situation of a job, you should be looking at, okay, how are y'all going to make my life better other than a paycheck? What type of mobility am I going to have in this company? Is this a company where I can, say 5 or 10 years from now, be in a situation where I'm the boss, where I'm making the type of money that's going to be good for me and a family that I plan to start? Because if not, you should get the fuck out of there. Or use them as a stepping stone until you can find something better. Because, you know, a lot of times you're going to have to get experience from somewhere. So a lot of times you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do. A lot of motherfuckers not going to be able to get out of college and get straight into the company or the position that they want. So you're going to have to go get your hands dirty. You're going to have to work in the mail room. Or you're going to have to do shit that you feel may be below you. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the end goal, which is, you know, whatever your goal is. And your goal should be something that you have either written down or a picture of, like how some people got vision boards. Mm-hmm. Like you should know, okay, by this time in my life, this is where I want to be. By this time in my life, this is where I want to be. And don't get discouraged if you're not there at that point, because a lot of people feel like they hit the ceiling when that happens. Or they not doing what they supposed to do. Because sometimes, I'm not going to say that it's unrealistic, but a lot of times it just ain't in the cards for you. You know, like, you know, these motherfuckers saying, man, I felt like by 30, I was supposed to be married. I was supposed to be a homeowner. I was supposed to already have done A, B, and C. But a lot of times, you know, you get it at your own pace. Everybody don't work at the same speed. Everybody don't learn at the same speed. Everybody don't get put into the same situations to get the same opportunities all the time. So you just got to be comfortable in the fact that what you did was the best that you can do in any situation that you was put in. So when it comes to your vision board and your goals and your plans in life, always just be satisfied in the fact that you're doing the best that you could. You should only be dissatisfied with yourself if you knew you could have did more. And even in that situation, if you felt like you could have did more, do more now. If you felt like you haven't been going hard enough, go harder. And eventually everything that you wanted, and not everything that you wanted, but as far as the best that you can get, you will get. So you should always be trying to go as hard as you can to get the best out of life. So, you know, when it comes to just anything that you're doing, just stay focused on what you're doing. and not on the bullshit. Because if you looking at what you could, shoulda, coulda, woulda been doing, that would be a distraction in what you're doing in life. You know, and just because other motherfuckers is doing different than what you doing, don't let that knock you off your block. Because it's a lot of times where, let's just say hypothetically, you 30 and your homeboy 30. Your homeboy done already bought a house, got married, he drive a car that you like, and it's a lot of shit in his life that he doing that you want to be doing. You can't let that fuck you up because y'all not dealt the same deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of motherfuckers like, man, see, I'm looking at Jermaine over there, nigga. Jermaine and already did this, and this, nigga. We grew up on the same street. Then, nigga, Jermaine got different parents than you got. You know, Jermaine might have got in at a different job than you was able to get in. You know, Jermaine might have been working harder than you. Jermaine might be smarter than you. Jermaine might have relationships with people that you don't have relationships with. So you just got to let Jermaine be Jermaine and you do you. Because eventually you're going to catch up with Jermaine. But not watching Jermaine, you got to stay on your shit. Stay on your shit and you'll get where you supposed to be. Because everybody wants shit fast. But to expect that a lot of times is dangerous. Because when you try to cut corners, sometimes you fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, say, you trying to bake a cake. What it take? Eggs, milk, whatever the little cake mix is.
Or flour if you're going from scratch.
Yeah, okay, all that. Now imagine if you forgot the cake mix, but you put all the other shit in. Nigga, you done made paste. And that's what happens when you want shit too fast. When you doing shit outside of your pace or outside of, you know, what you can do.
Right.
You got to stick to what the fuck you can do. And that'll help you in the long run. You got to be patient because, you know, patience is a fucking virtue. You know?
If you go off of somebody else's story, it can make your story worse because it can put you in a state of depression. Like, damn, this nigga, I can't. For instance, I know somebody who looked at her friend's timeline and shit and was like, damn, they already married and this and that. And they went into a deep depression. Like, you can't compare, or you can't hold yours to theirs. You know, their story's different, yours is different. You just have to stay on your path and keep it pushing it and work. Because shit, and like you said, motherfuckers could have been working hard at it, and you over here OG half step. Exactly,
and that's what I'm saying. And you know, like what I always say to people, because you know, like they like to say the grass looks greener on the other side. Mm-hmm. Nigga, the grass is always greener on the other side because you so busy looking on the other side that you not watering your own fucking grass. That's how they shit got green. They over there watering their grass and you watching them water their grass instead of watering your shit. Mm-hmm. That's why they grass greener because you not watering yours.
They putting fertilizer and shit. You still watching them.
Exactly. You over there watching. So that's how shit get fucked up. You so busy watching all the other motherfuckers. You know, and when you get on, or not even when you get on, but when you on your journey, the doubters will be there. There's, of course, going to be people. Just like how you watching the other niggas succeeding, so are other people. Mm-hmm. There's going to be people, even people in your family, even people who you look up to, love, and respect is going to be saying, well, damn, that nigga Marcus over here doing this, and you only doing this. Damn, everybody else your age is doing this. Where your shit at? Mm-hmm. You ain't bought a house yet? You ain't did this yet? Man, fuck all that shit. Just do your shit. Nigga, your answer to that is, nigga, I'm where I'm supposed to be and I'll get where I'm supposed to get. And keep that shit at that. You know, success should leave clues. You know, when you get on, give that same advice that it took for you to get where you at. And help another motherfucker. You know, the whole reason of me having this fucking show is me giving advice to motherfuckers to get where I'm at. Like, a lot of how I get cracking in my life as far as my friends and shit like that, I ain't never been the type of nigga who wanted to be doing the best out of me and my group. I always wanted to be around a group of niggas all doing great. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck me being like, hey, y'all, I got a house. Hell no. I want to be surrounded by niggas and we all talking about our house. Like, so when I say man, nigga, I had to go, put down some new floors in my living room, such and such happened, so I had to do this, or I had to paint one of my rooms, or, my washer and dryer, I had to replace that because they got the new one with the new shit, so I'm getting that. I want niggas to be able to relate. Because when you surrounded by niggas doing worse than you saying regular shit to you sound like bragging to them. Me just saying I got a house is like bragging to certain niggas, unless they got a house. When you around the right group of people, because this is another thing for you graduates and young motherfuckers. Stay around the right people. A lot of times, if you own your shit, stay around other people who own they shit. College in general, for high school graduates, is more about building relationships with people than the actual shit you learning. Because a lot of what you learning, you gonna forget. Fucking spoiler alert. I don't remember shit from high school or college. Nigga, everything important that you need to learn in life, you learned in fucking kindergarten. A lot of this shit you learn in high school and college, depending on what field you go in, it's going to be foggy 20 years from now. When you in college, a lot of what you should be doing in college is networking. You should be building relationships with people that is going to be of value to you when you become an adult. You should be building relationships with people and friendships with people who are also on the same path that you on. Don't be hanging around people who fucking up. When you in high school and college and shit, you shouldn't be hanging around with the same niggas you was fucking up with in school.
Preach.
It like my boy Elijah Saddam said, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And you gonna learn that lesson a lot in adulthood. It ain't about, oh, I'm the best at this. Because nepotism is real. It's gonna be a lot more about, I know this nigga at this job. A lot of adults will tell you, oh, I got my job through my boy Gary. Oh, my boy Whoopty Whoop got me in up here. If you're not building these strong relationships with a lot of these people who are going to be on a good path growing up, life is going to be a lot harder. So if you in college, you should really be networking. Even if you just saying what's up to these motherfuckers in passing and becoming friends on Facebook, you'd be surprised how a lot of these relationships will push you further in life. I know Ben Reddy through his cousin who was my coworker, and now we podcasting together. Like, it's relationships. You foster the right relationships, it'll put you into good positions in your life. A lot of times, motherfuckers who you grew up with is more of a hindrance than anything. A lot of people, you got a lot of loyalty to people who you grew up with because you grew up with them. But a lot of the relationships that's going to push you further in life is niggas you met at 19. Niggas you met at fucking 30. So you got to keep that in mind. Fuck that no new friend shit. No toxic friends. That should be your fucking motto. No friends who ain't shit. But as far as the practical wisdom, be patient. It's not going to come to fruition when you want it to. But you can get it if you stay focused and grind on that shit. Don't let nobody fucking distract you. And when you get it, maintain it and share it with those who deserve it. Not just the motherfuckers who was hanging around just because they was hanging around. Back to the good relationships. You should be breaking bread with motherfuckers who helped you get that bread. Because a lot of motherfuckers is just hanging around your ass because they waiting for some crumbs to fall off your table. And you don't need to be around them certain type of motherfuckers. Help people who help themselves. Because a lot of times the people who helped you because they saw you helping yourself. And you got to make sure that you stay around the type of company that's going to help you move forward. So when it's time for you to get on top, you're not surrounded by snakes. You're surrounded by eagles. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the mic on that shit. This is your host, Yung Dolemite of the Too Much Game podcast. Sitting here with the super producer, Ben Reddy.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to be back at y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And if you want to support us financially, it is Patreon.com/Townhouse Media. Town with an E on the back. House Media. And you should be listening to us on Podcoin. If you want to get 300 extra points, use the promo code GAME. Podcoin. If y'all want to support me and you want to get paid to support me on Podcoin and all other fucking streaming platforms. I done already went long on this outro. So I ain't here to help you get bitches. I'm here to help you get better. Too much game.